So, the other night, I found myself deep in one of those late-night conversations that feel more like therapy than small talk. A close friend, clearly frustrated with the state of the world, turned to me and asked, "How do you not let all the terrible things out there corrupt you? How do you stay so good?" It caught me off guard. I don't think of myself as good. I just exist. I observe. I navigate. But their question got me thinking about what it means to walk through the chaos of life as an INFJ, as someone who feels everything so deeply and yet refuses to be consumed by the darkness around them. I realized this wasn't just about good versus evil. It was about the quiet strength of an INFJ, of an empath, who carries a compass that doesn't break, even when the world tries to bend it. I was 12 when I first understood how cruel people could be. It wasn't some dramatic moment, just an ordinary day. A group of kids at school was mocking this boy in our class, a quiet kid who always sat alone at lunch. It wasn't the teasing that hit me the hardest. It was the way they dehumanized him, like he was invisible. I didn't even know him, but it felt personal, like their laughter was echoing inside my chest. And then I had this dark thought. What if I laughed with them? What if I joined in? It scared me how easy it would have been to blend in, to avoid being targeted myself. That's when I realized that the line between light and shadow runs through all of us, even me. If you're an INFJ, you know this struggle all too well, the tension between the world you dream of and the world you're stuck in. By the time I was a teenager, I had this unshakable idealism, but it felt like a curse more than a gift. I'd see people lying, hurting others, and taking the easy way out, and I'd think, am I the naive one for believing in something better? There were moments I wanted to shut off the empathy, to stop feeling everything so deeply. But every time I tried, it was like betraying myself. Being an empath isn't a choice, it's who I am. I couldn't turn it off, no matter how much it hurt. I thought growing up would make things easier, but it just gave me a front row seat to how manipulative people can be. They lie to your face, twist the truth, and use your kindness against you. At first it broke me. I'd lie awake at night replaying conversations, wondering how I could have been so blind. But eventually I started seeing the patterns. Manipulative people are predictable. They act out of fear, insecurity, or desperation, and they project that chaos onto others. And that's when it clicked. Evil isn't powerful. It's fragile. It only has power when you give it yours. As an INFJ, I could see through the masks, the lies, the games. They couldn't hide their intent from me. That was my edge. One of the hardest lessons I learned as an INFJ was that empathy isn't a weakness. The world loves to tell you it is. It says, you're too sensitive, or you care too much. But the truth? Empathy is what makes us invincible. I had a mentor once who told me, you can't fight fire with fire. You have to drown it in water. That stuck with me. Where others met anger with anger, I met it with calm. Where others sought revenge, I sought understanding. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. Sometimes I wanted to scream, to let my darker instincts take over. But every time I held on to empathy, I realized it wasn't for them. It was for me. I didn't want their darkness becoming mine. I'd say there was a time someone I trusted betrayed me in a way that felt deliberate, like they wanted to hurt me. For weeks, I wrestled with anger and this desperate need to make them feel what I felt. But one night I sat down and asked myself, what would revenge even give me? Would it fix the wound they left? Would it bring me peace? The answer was no. Instead, I chose to set boundaries and walk away. Not out of weakness, but out of strength. Holding onto their darkness wasn't my responsibility. Here's the thing about INFJs and empaths. Our strength doesn't come from brute force. It comes from our ability to see through the chaos, to understand it, and to choose not to reflect it. Evil thrives on fear, anger, and control. But when you respond with calm, empathy, and a sense of unshakable inner truth, it has nowhere to go. That's the power of the INFJ personality. We aren't invincible, but we know where our true strength lies. We hold on to our vision of what the world could be, even when everything around us tries to convince us otherwise. So to my friend who asked how I stay so good, here's my answer. It's not about being good. It's about knowing who you are and refusing to let the world change that. Evil will always be powerless against a heart that refuses to close, against a mind that seeks understanding instead of control. And that's why, as an INFJ, I walk through the darkness and stay standing, otherwise. So to my friend who asked how I stay so good, here's my answer. It's not about being good. It's about knowing who you are and refusing to let the world change that. Evil will always be powerless against a heart that refuses to close, against a mind that seeks understanding instead of control. And that's why, as an INFJ, I walk through the darkness and stay standing,